The story we thought we knew about the shy teenager from County Durham has officially been, and quite frankly, the industry gatekeepers were never prepared for the final draft. In 2018, the world watched a trembling 13-year-old transform into a powerhouse on a Los Angeles stage. But as of early 2026, that version of Courtney has effectively been erased from the public record. We are witnessing what many industry insiders are calling a total career autopsy and rebirth. The timid girl who relied on ghosts to find her footing has disappeared, replaced by a calculated, high-octane rock entity that is currently shaking the foundations of mainstream music. This isn't just a change in wardrobe or a new single, it's a full-scale institutional rebellion. Reports from inside her inner circle suggest that the transformation was a survival tactic against a system that tried to turn her into a predictable, radio-friendly product. While many child stars struggle to find their footing after the initial hype dies down, Courtney has taken a sledgehammer to her own image, proving that the most dangerous thing in the music industry is an artist with nothing left to lose and total control over the volume. But to understand why she had to go to such extremes, we have to look at the silent war that was happening behind the scenes for years, where the price of fame almost cost her everything. But the silence wasn't just about music, it was about a fight for her very identity. The cracks in the foundation began to show long before the 2026 rebrand, during a period many are calling her incubation in the shadows. After the initial glitz of her global television debut, Courtney found herself trapped in what insiders describe as a golden cage of restrictive contracts. For years, the narrative was that she was the next version of a legend, a label that restricted her from finding her own frequency. Sources close to the singer have recently come forward with claims of massive friction between Courtney and high-level executives who wanted her to stick to safe, soulful covers. There were of legal entanglements that kept her from releasing original material for months at a time, leading to that eerie silence on her social media platforms that left fans theorizing the worst. It's now clear that she wasn't just resting, she was fighting a quiet war to reclaim her own name from those who viewed her as a mere commodity. This period of isolation led to wild speculations. Some fans feared she had her own career or that her voice had finally given out under the pressure. Instead, she was meticulously planning a breakout that would bypass the corporate gatekeepers entirely, choosing to fade out so she could re-emerge on her own terms. The question wasn't if she would return, but how much of the old Courtney would be left once she finally broke free of the chains. And when the silence finally broke, the sound was nothing like we expected. When the media blackout finally ended in early 2026, the sound that emerged was nothing short of a sonic riot that shattered industry standards. With the release of her 2026 project, Little Miss Jagged, Courtney signaled a definitive departure from the pop-oriented sessions she was previously pushed into. This shift wasn't just a creative choice, it was a statement of total independence. Music critics were initially baffled by the move toward dark, industrial rock riffs and snarling synths, with some calling it commercially risky or even career suicide. But Courtney leaned into the chaos, proving that she was no longer interested in the golden buzzer approval of judges. By partnering with underground producers rather than mainstream pop hit makers, she crafted a sound that feels like a fever dream of grit and rebellion. Each track feels like a direct response to the years she spent being told to tone it down or smile for the camera. By releasing her debut album independently, she successfully navigated the viral trap by refusing to repeat the formula that made her famous. But as her sound grew darker, fans began to notice a startling change in her physical presence that suggested this transformation went much deeper than just the music. It was a visual and financial revolution that sparked 1,000 controversies. If you look at the footage from her 2026 tour, you aren't seeing a girl trying to look like you're seeing a total visual metamorphosis that has left the fashion world reeling. Courtney has ditched the 60s flower child aesthetic for a look being described by editors as high-fashion grunge, an intimidating, sharp-edged persona that mirrors the intensity of her new tracks. During her recent sold-out residency at the Assembly, the imagery was stark, heavy shadows, metallic textures, and a stage presence that felt more like a riot than a concert. This rebrand wasn't without its fair share of accusations, however. Recent reports surfaced about her parting ways with agencies that couldn't match her pace, leading to her current status as a completely self-managed powerhouse. She's no longer playing the part of the grateful contestant. She's an artist who has set her own terms, often at the expense of her old fans' comfort. The shy girl is a ghost, and in her place is a woman who uses her frame to command a room before she even opens her mouth. This visual shift has been so successful that it sparked a new wave of trends across Europe. But even the most polished image couldn't hide the questions regarding her physical stamina during such a grueling schedule. But beneath the leather and lace, whispers of a health crisis began to grow. The most persistent of 2026 have centered around her vocal evolution and the sheer physical toll of her new, unhinged style. Critics and fans alike have marveled at the raw quality of her voice on the new record, but with that praise came deep concerns about her longevity. Whispers of vocal strain and potential permanent damage began to circulate after several high-intensity shows where she seemed to push her limits to the breaking point. In an era where every note is usually pitch-corrected to perfection, Courtney's refusal to hide the cracks in her voice is revolutionary, yet terrifying for those who remember her as a teenager. We've seen reports of accusations surfacing that she's traditional medical advice to maintain this high-intensity output, preferring the raw sound over safety. However, Courtney addressed this head-on in a recent, suggesting that the pain in the music is the entire point. She's leaning into the damaged aesthetic, turning her perceived vulnerabilities into her greatest strengths and daring the world to look away. She isn't just singing, she's exorcising the frustrations of her early career through every yelp and scream, creating a high-stakes gamble that has kept the world watching. This tension is exactly what has fueled her 2026 momentum, making every performance feel like a must-watch event that could potentially be her last. And that sense of urgency is exactly what made her a legend. As we look toward the end of 2026, it's clear that Courtney's transformation is the blueprint for how a modern artist survives the child star curse. She didn't just grow up, she revolted against the very hand that fed her. By walking away from the sure thing of a major label and embracing a sound that was purposefully unpolished and controversial, she's achieved something far more valuable than a radio hit. She's achieved total artistic sovereignty. Her story serves as a stark reminder that the industry often tries to fix what isn't broken, and it takes a rare kind of courage to fight back and win on your own terms. The 2026 narrative isn't about a girl who found her voice. It's about a woman who refused to let hers be stolen by the highest bidder. Whether you're a fan of the new, industrial Courtney or you still listen to the old soul covers, you have to respect the hustle of someone who was willing to disappear just to make sure they were finally heard. She turned a viral moment into a decade-long career by being the one thing the industry can't manufacture: authentic. As she moves into her next chapter, one question remains for the rest of the music world: who will be the next artist to realize that the safe path is actually the most dangerous one? Courtney didn't just survive 2026, she owned it. But the real question is, who will she become next?